What's up everybody, welcome back. Today we will be discussing the weekly reset of May 26, 2020 with topics surrounding last week's TWAB, which is all about the reload perks, and we'll take a look at any of the updated pyramid ship and the bunkers, see if there are any skybox changes with the almighty, hopefully there actually some kind of story progression, or if there are any cutscenes or trailers, as well as any of the other weekly updates. Starting off with last week's TWAB, it was a very interesting one. As I'm sure many of you know, if you're a Destiny player, reload perks seem to be the main choice whenever you use a gun. Especially if you're using something like a 110 hand cannon, they feel impossible to use without a reload perk. Well, Bungie's addressing those issues, so let's go take a look. They start off with updates for Season 11 and the World Drops, noting that weapons or weapon rolls from the Vanguard, Crucible, or Gambit playlist should be obtained as they won't be around for much longer. We actually have a good amount of weapons in this world pool for next season, but I am more interested in the seasonal weapons that we will actually get with the seasonal content, whatever that may be, and hopefully we get an update soon on what the next season will hold. Moving on, we have some stat updates on the more popular reload perks like Outlaw, Feeding Frenzy, and Rapid Hit. Out of all these changes, I think Outlaw won't feel too much of a change, and Feeding Frenzy might get a bit of love once these changes are actually implemented. If you're rocking Randy's throwing knife, you might feel a little bit of a difference with Rapid Hit, but we'll have to see through testing how that feels. Those weren't the only perks that would change though. We are also getting some changes to some general perks returning, like Dynamic Sway Reduction, Pulse Monitor, Hip Fire Grip, and Sneak Bow are making a quote-unquote return, and that they may actually be useful and viable for weapons. I'm gonna have to try the Sneak Bow because that sounds pretty good. Being off the radar when shooting sounds like it'll actually be useful in PvP. Definitely look out for Dynamic Sway Reduction and Pulse Monitor though. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get a Shotgun Godwell with Pulse Monitor and Quick Draw. Nearing the end, Bungie gives us a small tease to some new perks coming. They won't tell us much besides 2 new perks for Iron Banner and that 2 weapons are being brought back. The names of the perks are Iron Grip and Iron Gaze. Just the names alone make me think of an auto rifle and a sniper. I can't really think of what they will really do, but if I had to guess, I would say Iron Gaze will be similar to box breathing, and Iron Grip probably just giving max stability. Finally, we have some archetype changes. Slug shotguns, high impulse pulses, and bows have not seen a lot of love lately, especially in challenging content like raids and nightfalls, so Bungie is buffing the archetypes to catch up a bit and possibly be an option. Slugs getting a 30% damage buff in PvE, high impulse pulses getting a slight damage buff in PvP with 1 damage increase to the bullets, making it a 5 crit 1 body kill instead of a 6 crit to kill. And bows are getting an all around 10% damage buff to minor enemies so that whenever you try to shoot them, they don't have just a sliver of red health left. They are also tackling the uses of snipers, hand cannons, and auto rifles, stating that they're looking at the zoom of a sniper to how useful it is and making it more of an interesting choice, as well as hand cannons are being looked at to specifically target the aggressive types to be independently changed for their range. Finally, adaptive auto rifles are being slightly tuned, not taking away the buff that they made earlier, but slightly tuned so other subfamilies can have a chance to shine. All of these changes they hope to put out by the fall expansion or season 12. So we are about 30 minutes out from reset, and apparently there is new tower music. Let's go check it out. That sounds most definitely new. Let's turn this down a little bit. It sounds like it would be the theme for the darkness, honestly.
A second collapse? No. We won't allow it. Much to be done and little time to do it. The pyramid must be dealt with.
So there doesn't seem to be much happening in the tower. Zavala has some interesting dialogue though. Looking at the Eververse, what we have this week on the main page, we have Feline Fancy, the emote, if you want to get that. We also have the Infinity Cubes. We have the Outbreak Perfected. I believe this is a Trials ornament. Yeah, that's a Trials ornament. And we have Siva Emergence. I think we're actually going to get a bit of Siva coming up either maybe this week or next week. Moving on to the Bright Dust items, we have another. Keep them coming. Seems like you're pouring some tea. The Nucleus Shell, if you want to get that, with Public Defender and Speed Demon. And Moderate Splendor. That seems... that's an awesome card on there, so that's actually pretty cool. It has Destabilizers and Custom Drive. You have the Crown of Tempest ornaments, very, very cool. The Lux Souls, or whatever your seasonal item for your character is. The Splice of Life, looks like it's Siva on that, and then Savage Haymaker. And going on to the bottom, we have Nightmare Emergence.
Fenchurch says a lot of fantastic things. I tend to believe him.
You also have Neo Pop Wave, very colorful. Don't really see that often. And then all of your regular boons and so on. Moving on to some of the pinnacle activities for the week. For your Nightmare Hunts, you have Skolas, Zydron, you have Omnigore as well, and then you have your regular Garden of Salvation. For some Crucible modes this week, you have Mayhem, so go ahead and do that. You have Breakthrough, and then all of you regulars. For the Grandmaster Nightfall this week, it is Tree of Possibilities with all of these very negative modifiers. Champion and Overload with Shocker. And then for your traditional Nightfalls, you have Inverted Spire, Savathun Song, and Warden of Nothing. As well as your flashpoint for the week is going to be Mars. Looking at the updated map for all of the triangle ships, we seem to have a lot more. They're getting much closer and larger quantities. Next week they'll probably be up to about this line, or they might even be at Titan. But we are very close to engaging with the triangle ships. It's gonna be an interesting season 11 for sure. Just on this updated map, we seem to have about 48 ships. And I don't know if these are also little ones that just merge together. But in case you also don't know, we also have these multiple little dots all formed together. Those are actually planets. And these triangle ships are just destroying these planets, or taking them over, or whatever they are doing. So once they get over here to Titan, they may very well take over Titan. I don't know about y'all, but this seems different. The environment just looks different. There seems to be a lot more wind. I mean, everything looks much clearer. It might just be the lighting. Can we see anything? Dude, this honestly gives me a bit of chills because I don't think we've seen these weather conditions on Titan before. Looking around everywhere, we can't really see any ships, sadly. But you know, probably within the next 2 weeks, we'll probably see some of them in the skybox. You can barely see the dreadnought over there. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out all of my other videos that I have going up on the channel. I just finished Uncharted 4. I believe the epilogue is going up today, as well as I'll be starting a new series pretty soon. I'm thinking of doing Heavy Rain, actually. And how long are we now? Just a few weeks from The Last of Us Part 2? 4 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks from The Last of Us Part 2. Absolutely so excited for that game. I cannot wait to play it. It's a Friday. It comes out at 11 p.m. for me on digital PS4, and I'm going to be uploading as fast as possible, as much as I can. So subscribe, like, comment if you want to stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all next time. Have a great day. Bye. Alright, just a quick note before we actually end the video. If you go to the tower right now and you get an instance where you have the sun out, if you lower your brightness and lower your FOV and look in the sun, you can actually see the Almighty. It is very faint. It can be hard to see, but it is there. I'll put up a picture of it right now, just so you can see. So this is something that's actually really cool. We can actually see the Almighty finally. After like 2 months, we actually get a little bit of story progression. I'm hoping there is daily movement. After every reset, it changes its position, it gets closer and closer. And eventually, maybe we can see it like right next to the tower and much bigger as the season starts to end. But that's just like a little quick tip if you want to go try it. It's also all over Twitter, Paul Tassie's Twitter and Reddit, probably all over the place. It's something really cool. Like, I don't even know how we saw this or how Paul Tassie even saw this. It's absolutely crazy, but go ahead and try this out. It might be a bit hard to get an instance with just the sun, but even then you could probably just wait. Everything moves in real time, so even just waiting for like 10 minutes or so will get you it. But that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.